Hello, America. Anyone out there? Anyone? Anyone? This is Sean Bianca with Clean TV Live, and I'm GOP girl with true news for President Trump. All right, I have a lot to talk about. FGM. Have you heard about that? It's the silent issue that no one wants to address, and Tucker Carlson actually did address it briefly last night. Female genitalia mutilation. A lot of Americans think that it is not taking place here in the United States. You are wrong. In fact, I, on Twitter, had a man, when I posted today's blog on FGM, he said, "Don't worry about it. It's not going to happen here in the United States." Wrong. Just recently, the FBI arrested Dr. Jumana Nagarwala, whatever her name is, for performing female genitalia mutilation on girls 6 to 8 years old in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan is here in the United States. Apparently, the doctor had been performing the surgery, which is usually performed without anesthesia. She'd been performing these surgeries since 2005. The atrocity only carries a 5 years in prison. However, hopefully this woman did enough of these procedures so that she will be in prison for the rest of her life. Now, female genitalia mutilation may not seem important to the guys. But guys, I think if your private parts were about to be mutilated, I think you'd have an issue with it, and I think you would want to speak out about it. These are girls from the ages of 4 years old around the world are being victimized with this awful, horrific procedure. I wrote a blog about it. Here in the United States, presently, there are a little over 500,000 women that have been the victims of female genitalia mutilation. So it's happening here in the United States. Congresswoman Elizabeth Scott of Washington actually proposed a bill in 2015. It has still not been passed. There are only, surprisingly, 26 states in the United States that have banned female, or it is against the law to perform female genitalia mutilation. Please share today's blog. If there's any blog that needs to be shared, it's this blog. We need to have people have an awareness of this horrific, horrific procedure that's taking place, and we need to speak out and have Congress have a law so that this no longer takes place here in the United States. Next. Okay, terrorism. It's becoming an everyday event. And yet, we still have open borders in Europe. We still have not gotten through the travel ban. Here's one that nobody knows about this because mainstream media hasn't reported on it. Did any of you know that on April 4th, 2017, a 66-year-old Jewish woman was thrown to her death from a balcony in Paris? Yes, by a Muslim yelling Allah Akbar. We never heard about it, and that's the problem. If you go to a site, Google the religion of peace, you will be horrified at what you see, because you will see the amount of terrorist attacks that are taking place around the world. Between the dates of April 8th and April 14th, there have been 36 attacks, 280 people killed, 275 people injured, 10 suicide blasts, and within 12 countries. So 12 countries have had terrorist attacks, and yet, where is the war on Islam? Thank God President Trump dropped the mother of all bombs on ISIS last week. However, we need help. The world needs to come together. We need to come together, and we need to fight terrorism. Today in Paris on the Champs-Élysées, we had one man killed and 2 others shot. I believe that was it, yes. And by 39-year-old Abu Youssef, whatever, he's known as the Belgian. He's one of the Islamic State's fighters. ISIS took responsibility. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we had the shooting in Fresno, California. And this was an American. He actually changed his name to Corey Al-Muhammad. His name is an American name. It is not Corey Al-Muhammad, but he grew up hating whites. And the Fresno Police Department seems to be operating under the same Obama doctrine of where we protect the religion of Islam and we protect Muslims, because they do not want to admit that this man shot 3 people in Fresno, and he was yelling Allah Akbar, and they don't want to admit that it was because he's a Muslim. No, they'd rather say he's a racist. Yes, he is a racist, but he's also a Muslim. He's getting a maximum of life in prison. And he shot 3 people, and he killed 1 armed guard. I'm sorry, a life for a life. You shoot someone, you die. Bottom line. We must win the war on terrorism. And the only way we can win the war on terrorism is if we can get through the travel ban that President Trump proposed when he first became president. Since he's become president, over 3,000 Muslims from various nations that sponsor terrorism have been allowed into the country. So if something does have to happen in the United States, and it happens at the hands of someone that comes through during this travel ban being halted, I do hope it happens to a liberal. I don't want it to happen to anyone, but let it happen to a liberal. All right, please share my latest blog, gopgirlblog.blogspot.com, and get the word out, because this is a battle for women that we must win. It's a horrific, horrific procedure. And the war on terrorism is another war. They're both one and the same. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and have a great night, everyone. This is Bianca, GOP Girl with Clean TV Live and True News for President Trump. Good night.